The things you love could destroy you just as surely as the things you hate. The difference is you never see it coming. Cassandra Clare. There's a version of the story where Candy is the hero. He loses his best friend. He refuses to accept it. He fights through armies, forges alliances he never would have made otherwise, and drags himself across the server until he gets that one person back. Watch the video again and a different picture forms. Candy doesn't just fight for Kelsey, he breaks for Kelsey. He abandons his judgment, gets played by two different people at the same time, and nearly kills one of his oldest allies over a misunderstanding he was too consumed to reason through. The real question isn't whether Candy loves Kelsey, it's what that love costs him, and whether he ever looks at the bill. The video opens with a problem that should have stopped Candy cold. Kelsey is dead. Son of Odin killed him. Candy had Son of Odin killed in return. Story over. Then Icarus shows up and says 4 words. I know where Kelsey is. Candy doesn't pause. He doesn't ask for proof. He doesn't question why Icarus, his former right-hand man, who has been nowhere for weeks, suddenly holds his information. He just moves. That impulse, moving before thinking, sets the tone for everything that follows. The signs were there from the start. Candy admits he never actually saw Kelsey die. Son of Odin totem. In the same breath, he acknowledges that Son of Odin runs with the Sovereignty and Italian cartel, the exact people who gained something from Candy believing Kelsey is dead and walking away. He catches that contradiction. He says it out loud, then he ignores it, because Icarus is standing in front of him, telling what he wants to hear. Obsession doesn't announce itself. It quietly shuts off the part of the brain you'd normally use. Italian cartel is the clearest mirror Candy has in this video. He never looks at it. When Candy finally corners Italian cartel, Cartel says something worth sitting with. He keeps his enemy close. He never hides what he wants. When he moved against Candy's empire, Candy saw it coming. Cartel frames that as honesty, and on some level, he's right. Candy, meanwhile, is getting played by at least 2 people across this video, walking straight into it because he can't separate what he wants from what's true. Then, Cartel makes the offer, 1,000 players. The logic should have been flagged. Why hand your enemy a sporting chance? Candy doesn't ask. He's not thinking about the offer, he's thinking about what sits on the other side of it. Kelsey. Every decision Candy makes runs through that filter. It doesn't just narrow his focus, it blinds into the shape of everything around it. The middle of this video is about resources, gear, potions, people willing to fight. Candy and Icarus move through 3 fierce factions to get ready for the battle. On paper, it's logistics. Look closer and see what Candy's doing. He enters deals, accepts help, and builds temporary loyalties with people he has no reason to trust. Because of each of them, he is one step closer to Kelsey. The ice boats race has concluded. In return, Candy and Icarus gets loot in exchange. The escort across the ocean now begins. Ceasefire at Grimsgate. Candy threads through all of it without asking why any of these factions are willing to help, what they actually want beyond the stated terms, or what position it leaves them afterwards. He's good at it, that's worth saying. Candy reads situations fast, adapts mid-conversation, keeps moving. In a different context, you'd call that strength, but none of the competence touches the one question that matters. Is any of this going to actually get Kelsey back? He didn't ask it once. 2 players against 1,000. Candy and Icarus improvise mid-fight, cover each other, burn through everything they have. It's genuinely impressive, but look at what the fight costs, not what it produces. Candy burns gear, potions, wind charges without a pause. When Icarus's armor starts cracking, Candy pushes forward. When his own inventory runs dry, he loots off players he's just killed and keeps going. He never stops to ask whether they could actually finish this. No checking with Icarus, no calculation about what comes after. The risk he's taking is enormous, but the only thing justifying it is the goal waiting at the end. hasn't tipped into violence for its own sake. Candy's violence stays purposeful, but the purpose he's become so tight, so singular, that it crowds out every other consideration. He is willing to lose everything in a single fight for one single outcome. That's not confidence. That's the math of someone who stopped weighing options the moment Kelsey's name came up. The battle ends. Italian cartel runs away. Antical steps forward with his bodyguard. Kelsey has been there the whole time, invisible, watching, waiting. Candy gets the person he burned the server down chasing. Then he turns on Icarus. Candy is convinced Icarus lied. From his angle, the pieces fit. Icarus said he was working with Anticool. He knew who Kelsey was before Candy told him, and he passed along information that turned out to be wrong. Candy lays into him, he accuses, cuts off Icarus, and escalates. The fury he's been carrying through the entire video finally has a face to attach to. Icarus fires back. Would Kelsey give up on you if you were lost? And later, you wouldn't have gotten Kelsey back without me. That's true. Anticool needed Candy for something specific, and Icarus was how he reached him. Candy doesn't slow down to consider whether Icarus was also being used. Then, Kelsey admits he agreed to the whole setup. Candy drops it, moves on, no fight. The same act, being deceived, lands completely differently depending on who did it. With Icarus, it's betrayal. With Kelsey, it's an explanation. Candy isn't providing evidence, he's processing feeling, and the feeling always runs in Kelsey's direction first. There's a quote that fits this story better than most. A hero sacrifices the person they love to save the world. A villain sacrifices the world to save the person they love. Candy doesn't sacrifice the world in this video, but he comes close to sacrificing Icarus. He nearly destroyed a genuine alliance, almost attacks the person who made the rescue possible, and spends the entire video operating with a moral field so narrow that only one person sits inside it. Kelsey isn't the problem, he's a real friend, clearly worth fighting for, and the loyalty Candy has for him is one of the most human things in the video. The problem is that anchoring every decision to one person doesn't make you more human, it makes you easier to steer. Whoever controls information about Kelsey controls Candy. Anticool understands that. Italian probably did too. Candy's love for Kelsey wasn't private, it was a mechanism, and multiple people in this video pulled it. The video ends without Candy sitting with any of that. Kelsey's back, Italian cartel and the sovereignty are the next fight. He and Icarus moves things over, and the story keeps moving. The lesson is there. Candy doesn't take it. He got Kelsey back this time, and whoever comes next will already know the playbook. He's not a villain. Nothing in this video earns that rating. He's loyal, capable, and the warmth he has for Kelsey is real. But loyalty that overrides judgment is also a target. On a server where everyone is looking for leverage, that target has already been hit once, successfully, by multiple people at the same time. The question this video leaves open isn't whether Candy could beat Italian cartel, it's whether he could fight the next war and still think clearly while he does it. Whether he can want Kelsey back without handing whoever holds that information a key to his decision making. The 1,000-player army wasn't the hardest thing Candy faced in this video. The hardest thing was the moment he had all the information in front of him. Kelsey standing right there, and he still almost attacked the wrong person. That's it for me. If you got something from this, subscribe and drop a comment. Do you think Candy actually learned anything from this? Or is obsession going to cost him more the next time?